Welcome to Mrs. McCarthy's kitchen, everyone. Pardon the noise. My son's playing with the pots and pans at my feet. What we are going to be making today is a lovely spinach, tomato, and bacon quiche. I'm going to start by cooking some bacon and getting that in the oven. And one thing that, I really like about quiche is that a lot of the times, as long as you buy eggs, or you have a lot of eggs, there's always something that seems to be in the fridge or freezer that you can use to make it. Basically, quiche, most people do make it with a pie crust, but where I'm always on the go and I don't have a lot of experience with pie crust or dough. That's something I hope I can actually learn from a lot of you guys. For some of you guys, or whatever, something I'll learn in the future. I like to make it in a casserole dish, and I find that it comes out just as good, and it's actually healthier for you if you don't use the crust and you just let the egg rise itself. And what quiche really is it's a pie made with egg and cheese and then pretty much whatever else you want to throw in there. Most people want it to have, usually people eat it for breakfast. Of course, whenever I make it, pretty much my husband and I eat it all day, every day until it's gone, which, although, for most people it would probably last a few days, for us it lasts usually 1 to 2 days. But I guess that's a compliment to the chef, right? So, funny story, when I was a little kid, I hated quiche. I didn't know why. I just didn't like it. I think I took a few bites of it, probably did like it, but I convinced myself I didn't. And so for that reason, I never made it again up until I tried it once, maybe 6 months ago. And I absolutely loved it. And now I'm finding that I could eat it every day of my life, and it's so delicious. So it's definitely one of my favorite things to make and one of my favorite things to eat. And it's super easy, and you can make it in all different ways. If you're a vegetarian, there's an awesome quiche for you. If you're a heavy meat lover, there's a ton of that for you too. Sorry about the interruptions, folks. But we'll see how long this takes me, and let's get started. We're going to start with some bacon. So you can either cook the bacon first and chop it up into little bits and then disperse it all throughout the quiche. But one thing I actually like to do that has really been a hit is I'll cook the bacon and I'll leave it and I'll bake it in the oven. Some people like to cook their bacon in a frying pan. I actually like to lay it down in a pan and let it cook in the oven for about 20 minutes, and then it's almost all the way cooked, but it's still a little bit soft, it's not crispy yet. And then what I do is I'll make the quiche and I'll lay the almost cooked bacon all the way across the top of the quiche. And what that does is the bacon, when you do cook the quiche, the bacon will continue to cook, and then when you bite, every single bite will have a layer of bacon on top, so it comes out really. So when you're gonna cook bacon in the oven, you can, what I like to do is I like to cut the pieces in half because they end up fitting better. Am I recording this? Yeah, okay. It ends up, I just cut the package right in half, just like that. I thawed it out and I stuck it in the sink with warm water, and it took probably about 5 minutes, and then it was perfectly thawed. So I just lay it all out. I usually end up using, I like a lot of cheese, to be honest with you. Hence, I've been putting on rather than losing weight since I had my baby, but you can always just buy a package of shredded cheese already. I had some cheddar cheese already, but I like to mix it up, honestly, every time. So I also had
a bunch of American cheese in there too, so in the fridge already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grate this up and mix it in with my cheddar cheese, because I usually like to use a little bit more for a nice big quiche. So all you do is you just, I like to have a bowl underneath to catch the cheese as I'm grating it. Now you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to take it and then just, let's see if you can see that okay. Okay, when I chop a tomato, I chop it in half first, and then I cut it into little slices, and then I turn it and I chop it again in little slices. Tomatoes don't like to be cut. You need a pretty sharp knife to get through it. It's never gonna look that perfect. I mean, after, I'll usually just give it a little extra chop, but that's good. So be careful, don't cut your fingers off. Some people probably do it different, but this is how I do it. Can't really get it wrong. For green pepper, this is a really small one, but one thing I do, because I don't want to have a lot of seeds in there, I cut it around the top. And then I pull the inside out, because this is where all the seeds are. And then I just dump the seeds right into the sink or the garbage, just because I have a garbage disposal. And then I just cut them into long strips. Oh, it smells wicked good. And then chop, 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 chop. Then I'll just give it an extra chop, 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 chop. Chop, 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 chop. I'm slabbering some butter onto this pan all over it, all over the sides. Really rub it all over there. Plenty of butter all over there now. Nice. Now I'm going to crack some eggs. So cracking an egg is really easy. Obviously not getting the shell into what you're making takes a little bit of skill, but you know, you got to break a few eggs in life, so let's go ahead and do that. Woo, no shell. Just smack it on the side. One thing I noticed,
is if you smack it too light, it doesn't yank it enough, and then when you do it the second time, the shell goes in. So you really gotta, I like to use the corner of the pan, and you really gotta like give it a good whack and just pry it apart. I just mix a little bit of milk in there. I take and then I just break the yolks. And then I usually know if I need to add more milk based on the color. Usually you're gonna see it's like a light yellow, but not too light. I mean, it might be easier for you if you just have a separate bowl and you crack the yolks into the bowl, and you can mix everything that way if you want to. Some people even use like an electric hand mixer, but I always find that I do fine with it this way. Just keep that handy. I'm going to throw my veggies in here. Mix this all in. Look at that. That looks pretty awesome. Oh my gosh, Scotty. Bunch of the cheese. I'm doing it. Let's make this extra healthy. It's like a veggie bacon quiche. So a half a bag will definitely do. And you'll notice that it looks like a ton, but once you mix it in, spinach shrinks big time. So, you know what? I'm actually gonna go and use my hands. Don't worry, the egg's gonna rise, and they the rest of the cheese in there. I'll leave a little bit for the top. Actually, dump it all in. Yeah, I'm dumping it all in. Paprika, little pepper, and I use pink salt. So, I'd say I like to just use the pinching effect. I am throwing about 2 fairly large pinches of salt. And a little sprinkle of paprika. And a little sprinkle of pepper. Cover it all up and then mix it in again.
I'm going to put a layer of cheese before I put my bacon on top. So, this is... layer of bacon. I'm gonna use the bacon that's the most, like, if there's really crispy bacon, I'll probably wait, because I don't want it to be too cooked, but obviously if it's too hot, use tongs. But the bacon's actually not too bad. So I can use my fingers. I might actually. Wow. Look at that baby. Wow. So, now that the baby's asleep and is not crying in the middle of my video, I have finished and it looks amazing. So just kind of funny how I'm gonna compare like frozen dinner versus amazing recipe. This is a frozen vegetable medley with chicken and rice. I mean, it doesn't look that bad, but compared to this amazing quiche, we're gonna cut into it in a few minutes, and yeah, I'll let you know how it tastes, and my husband will be a taste tester as well. Is it recording? All right. All right, let's see how this thing looks. I want to zoom in as close as we can get. I use one of these fancy cake. I don't even know what you call this thing. I'm sorry, but. Yum. It looks really hot. It's looking good. The bacon and the spinach. I keep tasting all the different stuff. Dude, this might be the best one I've ever made. On a side note, guys, I just wanted you to see cooking with children. Little side lesson. This little guy comes around and opens every cabinet and slams it as fast as he can and takes everything out. So, just a little that you'd like to see, you know, how troubling it can be, or how difficult it can be to do anything when you have